Ahem. There once was a hole that was black, out of which a monster jumped to attack. A general wanted to nuke, and some guy had to puke. Can I have my 2 hours back? Limericks, baby! Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3-Minute Horror Show. My name is Ben, your host, and I love horror movies. In fact, I watch the bad movies so that you don't have to. You're welcome. Today I'll be reviewing the movie The Black Hole from 2007. This Sci-Fi Network TV movie posits the question, what would happen if a scientific accident opened up a black hole on Earth? And how nasty would the monster that jumped out be? And I don't know if the answer we get is all that satisfactory. This movie was directed by Tibor Takics, the fellow who directed Kraken, Tentacles of the Deep, which I reviewed previously, and again, the far superior movie, The Gate. If you still haven't seen The Gate, what are you doing? Go watch The Gate right now. It's got a baby Stephen Dorff in it. What are you waiting for? The Black Hole cannot currently be streamed here in Canada. I am disappointed. You will have to go find yourself a copy. MAGA weirdo and original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Kristy Swanson, plays some sort of military scientist working with a particle accelerator in a lab. Two scientist guys are out and about in the facility when a rumble occurs, opening a small black hole, and a see-through monster crackling with electricity attacks and kills them. The monster looks like it came out of one of the Halo games circa 2000. She tries to call Professor Judd Nelson on the phone, but he's drunk and tired. When he doesn't answer, she sends out a military escort to pick him up. The general at the lab wants to nuke the black hole, and everyone tells this guy how stupid and dangerous that is. Professor Judd Nelson tries to warn his wife and daughter, but apparently he's such a huge drunk that no one believes him any longer, so they're like, okay, drunkie, whatever you say, pal. This movie was filmed on-site in St. Louis, and as a result, you get to see a lot of the local landmarks throughout the story. But this clip right here, this arch being destroyed, it's reused in 2 other sci-fi movies that hopefully we'll get to eventually.
Oh my.
The black hole electrical rumbles are getting worse, and the general is getting antsy. The rumbles are making the hole grow faster, and trust me, no one likes a fast-growing hole.
LOL.
The scientists notice radiation readings fluctuating in patterns that appear to be moving away from the hole, towards electrical sources, and that's their first clue about the existence of the see-through monster. The monster electrocutes, then vaporizes a couple of soldiers in front of the rest of the crew, and one guy can't stop himself from barfing. Luckily, the general throws a chair at it and it retreats. Hold on to your butts, things are about to get stupid. The thing starts traveling along the electrical lines, looking like some sort of ball lightning, and the general public start freaking out about it. The general calls for the total evacuation of St. Louis with the government authorities, and thank goodness a soldier delivers him some coffee because this is a big job. Naturally, traffic out of the city grounds to a complete halt and the citizens are all trapped outside. As the monster starts sucking up all the power of the main electrical grid of the city, the black hole grows at an exponential rate. Poor barfing guy goes back to the washroom to barf some more and gets smoked by the falling ceiling. Then he falls into the black hole. Rest in peace, barfing guy. The rest of the soldiers escape while the facility collapses in on itself and falls into the black hole. Science lessons with Ben. It's been a little while since we've done a science lesson, so buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. A black hole is a body in space that is so dense and where gravity is so strong that nothing can escape it, not even light. They're usually formed when a star dies by running out of fuel and then collapses in on itself. This causes an explosion, commonly referred to as a supernova, and the remaining mass and gravity create the black hole. Black holes are one of science's greatest mysteries. Beyond the event horizon, which is the area surrounding the black hole that we can see, the rest of our collective scientific knowledge about the inner workings of black holes, for example, what happens in its singularity, its center point where all the mass is concentrated, is unprovable speculation. Pretty interesting stuff. Professor Judd discovers that this monster must travel through black holes, and when the wall on the other side of the universe is just right, it can punch through those walls, creating a black hole to jump into. The accelerator must have created that weakness in St. Louis, and that's how the hole was formed. Also, they decide that pushing that thing back into the black hole will solve both problems. I don't see how, but okay. Professor Judd decides that they need to shut down the local power substations and have him drive an electricity truck by the monster. The idea being that the monster attaches itself to the truck, and then they drive towards the black hole. As they do this, a stealth bomber is sent into the skies to nuke this thing if it doesn't work. As the truck drives through the city, all the buildings and streetlights seem to have power. So that's silly. They turned off the power substation. Either way, you're going to have to watch this thing if you want to hear whether or not the plan works, or if Professor Judd survives. This was patently stupid, but it wasn't nearly as bad as some of the sci-fi movies that I've consumed. Luckily, there was also very little Kristy Swanson in this movie, and it was mainly focused on Judd Nelson's character. We have the standard terrible CGI here, and lots of it. And we also seem to have a miniature St. Louis that was created just to be destroyed, and that was lots of fun. Honestly, this was less horror and more sci-fi, but it wasn't the worst movie that I've seen lately. Imagine how much more ridiculous the idea of nuking a black hole would be if we didn't have elected officials floating the idea of nuking hurricanes around.
Don't be rude.
Is this the best sci-fi movie that we've seen so far? It may be. But I still rate The Black Hole a 5 out of 10.
Mamma mia!
As usual, a link to my letterboxd appears in the video's description. Please leave me a like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does boost my engagement and helps my channel grow. Smell you later, nerds!
A black hole is not an ordinary object that you can drop a bomb on and destroy.